show of choice that you were watching?
At that time, just because I was just watching some old Office, like the Office episodes. I love The Office.
Classic.
So that was fun, and spent time with some friends. I ate good food. Ooh, look at that. Wow.
Those are some big pumpkins.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Grace, who's in that photo, we went to Chicago, which is her hometown, with a couple of our other friends. And we went to a pumpkin patch and tried to recreate the photo from, it's like the big pumpkin scene from Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
So that was our inspiration.
Oh, wow.
And it was a nice weekend. Went to some museums, ate some good food.
Yeah. Wow, those are really big pumpkins. Did you take one home?
No, they're really expensive. But here are some pumpkins that were taken home.
Oh, wow. That is Hallie, I think, right? That's Hallie and her friend just carving some pumpkins, looks
getting in that fall spirit.
Yeah.
I hope that they had they used those pumpkin seeds to maybe make some pumpkin bread afterwards.
Oh, yes.
Something delicious.
A good tip, Trader Joe's has amazing pumpkin bread. I love it so much if you don't want to make your own, but pumpkin seeds are great for just making your own homemade bread, too.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So it looks fun. I haven't gotten the chance to carve some pumpkins.
Oh, there's Carter. He copied your photo.
I know. What the heck? Yeah, it looks like we had the same idea. He has a really cute dog, looks like. Can I have his dog? Yeah, it's the same idea.
Well, here's Emily, who had a little more of an exciting weekend than Carter. It looks like she went to a concert with her dad, which is very sweet. Not quite sure who they saw, but nonetheless, concerts are always a great time.
Yeah. And so
now we have Gabriella, who went to dinner with her family and her grandma at Bravo in Kansas City and said they ate lots of delicious Italian food.
Yes, I love Italian food. It's so good. One of my favorites. And our weather gal, Jade, went to the Missouri football game over the weekend, over the long weekend. Looks really fun. I mean, I love KU more, obviously, but, you know, we still love her. We still like her.
We'll still keep her around.
Yeah.
And there is Sydney, who went rock climbing, actually, which looks super exciting and adventurous. I wonder where exactly she was rock climbing, because it looks like there's some snow. So maybe Colorado area, I would guess, but really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And this one looks like a fun time. Yeah.
Looks like she just hung out with friends, ate some popcorn. Is that a fruit by the foot?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I see some rubber ducks.
Yeah, I think so too. A great night.
Wow. Yeah. Chloe went to Nintendo, came to campus, and they did something special at the Union. And she said that she had a lot of fun doing that.
I walked past it and it looked super exciting and really fun, and I'm a little jealous that she got to go in and actually play one of the video games there.
I know, that'd be so cool to play that in person. And this is Yeezy. He's just kind of hanging out, you know, looks like, just laying in bed, you know, enjoying fall break, kind of like me and Carter did.
Yeah, it looks like you guys all had the same idea, just sleeping the weekend away, which is honestly the way to go.
I was so tired. I think that night before I took the picture, because I had just woken up and from midterms and all that, so totally understand where Yeezy's coming from. So, yeah.
And one of our special friends, Paige, decided to scare her dad in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like he got super scared, but she was the one who got scared from her dog.
Right. Yeah. You know,
in a turn of events.
Because it was her dad's birthday, you said, right? Yeah, she said. So, yeah. We love Paige. And that's all for now.
Yeah, that's all we have. I think up next there is an interview with Gabriella and a member from KJHK radio station, so stay tuned for that.
welcome back. Today we are here with Karsan Turner, who is usually our director here, but is now here to be interviewed because he is a part of KJHK radio station.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what you do there and what's involved?
Yeah, so I'm the Arts and Culture Director at KJHK. So outside of just regular music that we broadcast on the station and kind of sports talk, another thing we do is we make podcasts since they've been growing in popularity, especially within the past, 10 years or so. And so what I do is I have a team of staff members that are all paid, and they make podcasts every 2 weeks because we have a broadcast that airs at 7 p.m. And on the side, I also make my own podcasts because I started out as a staff member, and now I'm the director. That's usually how that works. You kind of work your way up. So yeah, that's what we do. We make podcasts.
Well, what kind of positions are there in your team?
So the team has the same position, which is just a producer. So they make a podcast, and they all have different types of podcasts that they do. So for example, there's a staff member. His name is Wyatt. He has a show called Watching with Wyatt, where he goes to the movie theaters and he watches a new movie that just came out. Then he previews a new movie that's about to come out, and he kind of gets interviews with the actors. Well, he finds videos of those interviews and then just kind of predicts what he thinks it's going to be. And then another staff member, he reviews plays and musicals. Another staff member, she talks about relationships and brings in people who are in some interesting relationship situations and just kind of sits down and talks to them. And then Trevor is a staff member too.
Well,
he doesn't have a show. He just, kind of makes stuff.
So you have your own show?
I do, yeah. So my show is called B-Sides, which is in reference to a record. There's the first side, then you flip it over, then it's the B-side.
Right.
It's where I take an artist's discography. I listen to everything they release, and then I kind of give some background information on what the artist did while they were making the album that they were doing. So for this episode, kind of like this graphic is showing, this is a review that I did for KJHK where I, instead of just talking about this artist, her name is Wise Blood, I went to her show. She went to the Bottleneck, and I actually got some pretty cool pictures and then talked about that in my episode. I also got a set list signed by her from the show, and then I also got to meet her at the end. So that was
so cool.
Super cool. Usually I just get to talk about the artists. That's the first time I actually got to meet the artist that I was talking about. So that's my most recent episode that I've done, and the one that I'm working on now, we have a Halloween broadcast, is this weird artist who had some random album. I'm gonna try to go through this as fast as I can, sorry.
No, go ahead.
He had a random album and just kind of disappeared from the face of the earth in the 70s. Some people found it and they really liked it, so they were trying to find this guy, and some fans had to hire a private investigator to find who this person was, because his name's Gary Wilson, which is such a generic name.
Yeah.
And he was just working at a bookstore, and they said, hey, people really like this album that you made randomly, and we want you to keep making music. So and that was for about 30 years, because the album came out in the 70s. And so just 30 years later, he just started making music again. So
Weird. That's so cool, though. How much time do you have to put in to each show?
That is such a good question. So for my show specifically, there have been times where anywhere from 8 to 25 hours. There have been times where I've just come into Media Crossroads to start editing at maybe 3 p.m. and then I'm leaving at 2 a.m. because I'm trying to wrap up a podcast. And then now I also have to listen to everyone's podcast and give them feedback, and then they make those corrections, and then I listen to it again before we broadcast it. Then I also air them all. But they are pretty good at telling me what they want me to mention about their podcasts. So very fortunate. The staff this year is very good. So
is this kind of something you want to do in your future too, or is it just a fun side hobby?
I don't know. It definitely started out as a side thing, but the more I do it, the more I really enjoy it. So I think that's something, especially with music, it's something that I've just kind of always really liked. Ever since I was in 6th grade, I was just obsessed with the Beatles, and I listened to all of their albums and just totally bought the theory that Paul McCartney died and was replaced by a look-alike. But from there, I don't know, just keep listening and trying to find new music. So I think that's something I kind of want to stay with. So.
Yeah. And how could someone get involved if they want to be a part of this team or any KJHK?
So we actually have two positions open right now. And basically all you have to do is go into KJHK. If you Googled KJHK Arts and Culture application, you would find a link to it.
Okay.
And then you would just apply, and we would look at your resume, and if we think that we would be interested, then we'd contact you, set up an interview, and then just kind of go from there. You don't really need to have podcasting experience. You just kind of have to be willing to learn. So we're willing to give anyone a chance. So yeah, and it is a paid position too.
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
yeah.
Is there like a weekly time commitment that they have to commit to, or is it just kind of when you finish your podcast?
So we have meetings every Monday, and then outside of that, they have hours that they have to attend to. So they have to be in the studio working on a podcast. It is a little bit different if they have a computer to work, as long as they just kind of get their podcast done and are sending in rough drafts when the rough drafts are due and everything like that. So yeah.
Cool. And is there anything else you want to add about what you do or about the radio station?
Yes. So outside of the podcasts, our arts and culture team, we are playing a lot of iMessage game Pigeon 8-ball, and I may not be the best player right now, but eventually I will be. So there you go. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us
no problem.
today.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Welcome back, I'm Anna.
And I am Sydney, and this is your Good Evening KU News Update. Police closed 2 blocks of Mass Street on Sunday evening after a man was stabbed to death in the 1900 block. According to the Lawrence Journal-World, police found an adult male who could not be revived. Motives for the stabbing are unknown, and the identity of the victim has not been released. A suspect has been located and interviewed by police.
The Kansas City Kurdish community held peaceful protests over the weekend at the Country Club Plaza. They were protesting President Trump's recent decision to pull U.S. forces out of northern Syria, leaving Kurdish allies to fend for themselves against Turkish-backed forces. The local community held signs and chanted for hours on Saturday and grabbed the attention of many. The U.S. reached a 5-day ceasefire agreement with Turkey on Thursday.
District Attorney Charles Branson announced last week that Douglas County will no longer file criminal cases for simple marijuana possession offenses. This decision was made effective immediately. Possession is still illegal under federal and Kansas state law, and well as most of Kansas towns. Possession with the intent to distribute will still be prosecuted.
According to a survey conducted by the Association of American Universities, 26% of undergraduate students at KU said they have been sexually assaulted since entering college. 15% of undergraduate students said they have been raped since entering college. The report also shows that students often did not use campus resources despite being aware of where to report sexual misconduct. 75% of those who said they were raped did not report it to KU. Other universities who participated in the survey had similar data.
A Lawrence man who was shot by police during a traffic stop in March of 2018 is now suing the police department, its chief, and 2 officers involved in the incident. Akira Lewis filed the lawsuit Friday, claiming that officers used excessive force and that the city does not properly train its officers. Officer Brinley Blood was the one who shot Lewis, claiming that she meant to draw her taser instead of her gun. An aggravated battery charged against her was dropped in March. Lewis is seeking damages in excess of $100,000.
KU football lost narrowly to the University of Texas in Austin on Saturday, falling 50-48. The Jayhawks looked fresh and recharged after a week off, but couldn't quite push past the Longhorns' relentless offense. Despite giving up 50 points, head coach Les Miles was happy with some aspects of the defense.
I thought we tackled the ball. I thought we tackled hard. I think, as an example, Mike Lee's tackle and severing of the ball, and Bryce Tornaden got to that ball faster than I could see how anybody could. And then once he got there, there was no chance that that ball was going to go to anybody other than him. So I like those things.
Kansas will host Texas Tech on Saturday evening for the homecoming game. The Red Raiders are 3-4 and on a 2-game losing streak.
That's all for our Good Evening KU news update. It's going to be cooler today, but warmer again on Wednesday before dropping into the low 30s on Thursday night. Then it should be a little warmer on Friday and Saturday for the homecoming football game. Are you going to the game, Anna?
Yeah, I don't have anything better to do.
Yeah. How do you think we'll do?
I think we're going to do great, honestly. You know, we have a
Yeah?
good team, strong players. Are you going to go?
Yeah, I think I'll be there.
Cool. So that's all we have with our news update today. Please keep watching, and after the break, Chloe and Jade will be here with the weather.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Hi, welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Jade Steffensmeyer with the weather forecast for this evening. So right now it is mostly sunny, 61 degrees, and we have pretty strong winds coming from the west at 13 miles per hour. For the rest of the evening, though, it's going to get significantly colder, especially at 9 p.m. It's going to go from 59 at 6 to 48 at 9, but it's going to get a lot less windy, which is good. For the rest of tonight, though, it's going to get down to 43 degrees. It's going to stay pretty clear, and the wind's going to actually pick up at 17 miles per hour. For the rest of the month, it's going to be actually pretty cold. This is because there's 2 high-pressure systems over by Greenland and then over here by the Pacific Ocean. And since there's those 2 high-pressure systems, that forces the jet stream south over down to the Midwest. So because of this, we're probably going to have cold temperatures for the rest of October, and so this week will probably be the last week of warm weather, unfortunately. And then contrary to this, actually, tomorrow is going to be 70 degrees, partly cloudy, and pretty windy just like today. Another outlook for the temperatures for this winter, so this is for December and February of 2020. A lot of people have talked about how this winter is going to be a little bit colder than usual. This is actually not true. It's probably going to be a pretty average winter, which is good or bad, depending on if you like cold weather or not. For the South United States, it's going to be a little bit warmer than average, and then for us, it's probably going to be normal. So if anything, it'll be a warmer winter than usual. For our extended forecast for the rest of the week, so as I was saying, tomorrow's going to be a pretty nice day, getting up to 69 degrees, and then it'll get a little bit more chilly on Thursday, with the high being 48. And for the weekend, it's going to stay in the 50s. On homecoming day, 58 degrees, so which is good if you like football. It'll be pretty nice for that. And then for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it'll stay in the 50s for that and then get down to 49 degrees on Tuesday. But that's all we have for you today on Good Evening KU. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.